Shalom and greetings to you all. You know, this is a special week. We have another twin celebration. What has been traditionally known as the Freedom Festival, when both Canada and America celebrate their birthdays, their independence, their freedom. They're following their own paths. Yes, they both existed before, both had histories before. But these twin dates mark their coming into their own and taking their first flight from the nest and establishing their own karma. Both were about nation freedom, independence in the grand scale from the domination or control of another nation, both actually from the same nation. Oh, rule Britannia, once, but no more. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, Yankee Doodle do or die, real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. Now, it's a time of nation gathering, as everybody comes together to celebrate something bigger than anyone. Our birthdays for each of us, our anniversaries are for two of us. All the graduations also recently were for groups of 20, 30, 100, whatever. Christmas for Christians, Passover for Jews. But these days for nations are for everybody within those nations. And as the two great bastions of freedom gather, let us all gather together as a like-minded group in the collective consciousness of seekers, showing faith and love, a community, a chavura, a fellowship. Consciousness, seekers showing faith and love, community of all mankind, as we all express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. It unites us all, every single one of us, in this house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody, physically, psychically, digitally, emotionally, spiritually, so everybody can come together and gather and share from Psalm 133, actually. Come together, the Hine Matov. Hine Matov. Ubenai. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, 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 together. And that's brothers and sisters, everybody. No distinction there. All of the community of all of mankind. So let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is your setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. It's part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It is your goodwill. Let's take some time now to send some of that goodwill, some light and healing out to whoever you know that needs it. The world needs it. Healing, renewal for everybody. Floats through space, funding those in need. So send it out. For those you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. So let's send our thoughts and energy for health and renewal for everybody in need. For those in our hearts and our minds. For Dan and Bob. For Gloria, Rick. For cousin Monica, Aunt Maria. For Jessica and Alita. For Tony, for John and Karen, and for Deborah. Friends, it's the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. He Shabbat Avotenu Makor Limotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, let us say, Amen. He should bear let us all of our spirits renewed, my friends. This is a great prayer for healing, Should call upon God to heal as he has healed before. Mishaberach, may he who blessed, because all healing's a blessing. So let's send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. And there is a great test coming. A test of love versus hate. And nowhere more demonstrated than the upcoming U.S. presidential election. A real dichotomy. The amazing thing is, all that love and hate centers on the same candidate. Usually people like one or the other. This time people love or hate the same man. Now it's happened to a handful of people in history. Some good, some bad. But it's always worth watching to see how it comes out. Which is more powerful, my friends? Will it be hate or will it be love? And that is the real question. The power of love is a curious thing. Make one man weep, make another man sing. Change a hawk to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love. First time you feel it, might make you sad. Next time you feel it, might make you mad. But you'll be glad when you found that the power makes the world go round. Don't need money, don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love. Now, no matter what you feel, there's more power in love than anything. It holds the universe together. Now, for me, in many ways, it's a shame that this week we have a double parsha. Again, as we read chukat and balak. We're coming to the end of Numbers. Chukat is about laws. Specifically, it's focused on the laws regarding the mythical red heifer. Very rare animal in biblical lore. Still looked for today. Obsessed by some, in fact, for what it heralds. But so much of it really belongs in Leviticus, the handbook of ritual. And as important as it is, I'm not going to really spend much time on it. Balak, which is also the parsha read, and is not often discussed, is one of the true comic genius pieces of the Bible. A serious book with this odd piece. Now, one of the things that I focused on when I was in Jerusalem last year was research and writing a paper on the use of parables and allegories in teaching Talmud and how this had been the key way to teach from temple times on. Children, in fact, all people learn from story. It's how the parables of Jesus became so important. How the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Aeneid were transmitted. They gave birth to Aesop's fables. And, of course, subsequently to Peabody's improbable history. Now, one of the greatest and oldest pieces in the Bible is this section we're going to read today dealing with Balak, an actual king of Moab. And it's the Bible giving us the great 3,500-year-old comic relief. Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner were off by about 1,500 years with the 2,000-year-old man. Now, it's a sacred book that many people believe should be without humor at all. But it's an amazing story filled with humor with an extremely powerful message. But it so troubled early sages that it was decided that it was one of 10 inexplicable occurrences of the Bible that the only way to explain was to say that it was preordained at creation. The entire gang of 10 is quite interesting, so it really must have thrown our sages for a loop to have this piece and to figure out how to explain it, so that it had to be one of the preordained 10. And there's only 2 talking animals in the Torah. One during the creation stories of early Genesis, the story of the serpent, Adam and Eve, leading to the expulsion from the garden, and so much more. And this one of Balak, but they're radically different. In many ways, this is a turning point moment in the Torah. Numbers is rapidly ending. There are interesting things going on here. The journey's almost over. But is our journey ever really over? Now, in this 1 week, we read about the red heifer, and people have been searching for the next red heifer for thousands of years. We see the crime or the sin of Moses at the waters of Meribah, which we will understand later. Numbers 22. And the community had no water. They assembled against Moses and against Aaron. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the staff, assemble the community, you and Aaron your brother, and you shall speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will yield its water. And I shall bring forth water for them from the rock, and give drink to the community and to its beasts." Moses took the staff from before the Lord as he had charged. And Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly in front of the rock, and he said to them, "Listen, pray, rebels. Shall we bring forth water for you from this rock?" And Moses raised his hand, and he struck the rock with his staff twice, and abundant water came out, and the community with its beasts drank. Now Moses takes the staff. We just read about that staff, and addresses the rebels, which we were told the staff was for, to keep in front of the rebels. Now there's another staff that we're going to read about in this parsha, and it had what many believe to be another animated animal, a staff with a magical brass serpent on it. Now, interestingly, a small bronze serpent has been found at Timnah, where Solomon mined copper near Eilat, the region in which the incident is reported to have taken place in this story. Numbers 21:8. The Lord said to Moses, "Make you a viper and put it on a standard, and so then whoever is bitten will see it and live." And Moses made a serpent of bronze and put it on the standard, and so then if the serpent bit a man, he looked on the serpent of bronze and lived. Now the story from Exodus is all centered on the lives of Moses and Aaron, as they crafted a nation and a religion. And thrown in is a reference to another ancient text, the Book of the Battles of the Lord, which is a fascinating book. And this is one of several lost books mentioned in the Bible, and goes to recount much of the 40-year journey. And during all this, with the serpent and the plague that's brought about by that, and all that's going on now, there's a changing of the guard occurring without us being fully aware of it, because we have in this one little section the deaths of Miriam and Aaron, bookends in the desert journey. Numbers 21. And the Israelites, the whole community, came to the wilderness of Zin in the first month. And the people stayed in Kadesh, and Miriam died there. And she was buried there. Well, that's at the very beginning. But that's it. It reminds me of the life of Sarah, which simply told us that she died. Well, Miriam dies. She too was someone we know so little about. And then in Numbers 20:24 we read, "Let Aaron be gathered to his kin, for he shall not come into the land that I have given to the Israelites, because you both have rebelled." Now there's that special word again, the one associated with the staff. "Against my word at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up Hor the mountain, and strip Aaron of his garments and clothe them with Eleazar his son, and Aaron will be gathered up and will die there." Well, Miriam we know was in the first month, so it was at the beginning. And here Aaron is going to be gathered up to his people, which means he's going to die. And it's at the end because he's not going to be able to cross over to the land that God's promised to the Israelites. 40 years has just passed in the blink of an eye, which is why the book of the Wars of the Lord can be such an interesting read. The two seminal participants are no more, who had such history in this. And during this time, a nation has formed. And legal and spiritual and ritual systems have been put in place. A generation died out and has been replaced by people who have never known a home and who've been the recipients of daily miracles and all wants and needs met for as long as they've been alive. And like so often happens, almost any of those can be topics of great discussion. But here we are now at Moab, on the banks of the Jordan, where the great oracles of Balaam take place. And one of the final references to angels actually occurs. The people have been on the journey, Numbers 22:1, and the Israelites journeyed onward, and they camped in the steppes of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. We all know Jericho. And Balak, son of Zippor, was king over Moab at that time, and he sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor at Pethor, which is on the Euphrates in his people's land, to call him, saying, "Look, a people's come out of Egypt. Look, it has covered the eye of the land," which means it's now multitude and is everywhere to be seen. "And it's sitting over against me. And so pray, go curse this people for me, for it is mightier than I." See, King Balak sends for Balaam to go curse this people. Balaam's a professional. Numbers 22:6. "I know that whom you bless is blessed, and whom you curse is cursed." And Balaam listens and does what God tells him, not what man tells him. And God said to Balaam, "You shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for it is blessed." Now, how do we do that today? You tell someone God told you to do or not do something, and most will look at you and they'll think you're nuts. But you tell them your guts told you, your higher self, and that's okay. Well, God talks to us all, my friends. And that is your guts. It's your higher self. And sometimes you simply got a feeling and you got to pay attention to it. I've got a feeling deep inside. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. I got a feeling I can't hide. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I got a feeling. So what happens is, he says he's not for hire. God told him not to go. He's not going. No matter the amount. But he ends up going. As he's told that night in a dream, if these men have come to call you, rise, go with them. But only the word that I speak to you shall you do. So God tells him to go, but then a series of incidents occur because he does go. And it's very confusing because he's told not to go and to go. And God gets mad because he does go. Right? And it's this series, this ancient poem, which is amazing and wondrous, magical, and capsulizes so much. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his ass, and he went with the chieftains of Moab. God's wrath flared because he was going with them. And the Lord's messenger stationed himself in the road as an adversary to him. And he was riding his ass, and his two lads were with him. And we know when we read God's messenger, we are talking about an angel. And this story now has become a furthering of the story of Abraham and Isaac, when Abraham left and took his ass and his two men, and Isaac when he was going to make his sacrifice. You know, and so we've now got an angel here, which we didn't have until the end of the Abraham-Isaac story. And the ass saw the Lord's messenger stationed in the road, his sword unsheathed in his hand. And the ass swerved from the road and went into the field. And Balaam struck the ass to steer her back to the road. The Lord's messenger, angel, stood in the footpath through the vineyards, fence on one side, a fence on the other. And the ass saw the Lord's messenger and was pressed against the wall and pressed Balaam's leg against the wall. And once more he struck her. And the Lord's messenger crossed over and stood in a narrow place in which there was no way to swerve right or left. The ass saw the Lord's messenger, crouched down under Balaam, and Balaam's wrath flared, and he struck the ass with the stick. And the Lord opened the ass's mouth, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you should have struck me these 3 times? And Balaam said to the ass, "Because you have toyed with me. Had I a sword in my hand, by now I would have killed you." And the ass said to Balaam, "Am I not your ass upon you've ridden your whole life till this day? Have I ever been wont to do thus to you?" And he said, "No." The Lord unveiled Balaam's eyes, and he saw the Lord's messenger stationed in the road, his sword unsheathed in his hand, and he prostrated himself and bowed down to his face. Friends, the ass sees the Lord's angel in the road, while her master, the professional seer, remains blind to the divine emissary until his eyes are unveiled. The unveiling or uncovering of the eyes is crucial to the central theme of vision, and both unveiling and eyes will recur in the prologue of Balaam's oracles. It is this episode of the Talking Ass that was listed in the preordained events at creation. The ass could see, the seer could not. He was blinded by the light, cut loose like a noose, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Now Balaam blesses, not curses the people, but he was hired to curse. Balak isn't too happy about it, but Balaam continues to remind us what we've always heard before, and possibly never more poignantly than when Joseph told us that he was just a mouthpiece. God is in charge. God does the interpretation. Well, Balaam can only say what God told him to do. And he told him that's what he would do. Numbers 23:5. And Balaam answered and said to Balak, did I not speak to you, saying, all that the Lord speaks, only that may I do? 3 times he's asked to be the oracle and to curse, but it's always the same. He always blesses the people. And his blessing is the same blessing that was given to Abraham earlier. Should Balak give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not cross the word of the Lord to do either a good thing or a bad one from my own heart. That which the Lord speaks to me, it alone can I speak. And that's why we're told that those who bless the people will be blessed, those who curse the people will be cursed. Now, my friends, it's the same with you. God talks to everybody. He's talking to you right now. You can only say what he tells you. So take the do not disturb sign off, listen, and pay attention. Because, yes, the world is sacred, and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other, we share this ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey, because we take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our own effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week. A week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives, our intention, our Kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace, my friends, is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you, act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all, honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go, and work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and your ability to be mindful, aware, present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most of your time and continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy. Energy can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Friends, your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous with them. Bless others, bless yourself, and love with your heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other. We're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. And remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. Watch your words. They can hurt you. They can heal you. They can imprison you, but they'll free you. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Ask forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of, and listen to the voice of God as he, she, it talks to you. Talks to you now. Talked to you long ago on the mountain, telling you how easy the mystery of life really is. And there were more than just 10 preordained items at creation. You're one of them. And that's the way God planned it. Why can't we be humble, like the good Lord said? He promised to exalt us, but low is the way. How man be so greedy when there's so much left? All things God given, and they all have been blessed. That's the way God planned it. That's the way God wants it to be. Now, you can't argue with that. Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Now, get out and enjoy the summer. Celebrate the great gift of freedom and make it part of who you are. And I will see you all soon. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.